This is First Up with Kane Corns. I'm Sarah, Olle and Kane. At the end of round 8, the reigning premiers, the Brisbane Lions, they finish a game clear after a Q clash that promised so much, but in the end didn't live up to that billing. The Suns in the end not turning up to the party, and it was a domination for the Lions starting in the middle.
Pretty much, Sarah. Yeah, they were bashed. They got absolutely bashed up by Brisbane, the Suns, and it's really disappointing. It was probably the match of the round, albeit Saturday night was hard to top. But prior to that, you'd think, gee, this is the game of the round. But they just weren't up for the fight. Absolutely destroyed around the football. So nearly plus 20 in clearances by the end. But that probably doesn't even tell the story of the dominance. Contested possession, Brisbane plus 22. And this is a Gold Coast side who have loved to talk and have loved to put themselves out there. We go back to the pre-season practice match where, they were getting into Will Ashcroft about his Norm Smith medal. Well, didn't Will just put them to the sword? Clearly motivated by that. He had 9 clearances himself and destroyed them inside. So I would think that Gold Coast really have to go back to square one and think, gee, we're talking a lot, but are we prepared to back up our talk with our actions? And you'd have to say no, because that was a lesson.
Is it as simple as stop Matt Rowell and stop the Suns, because he was a non-factor today, Kane?
Yeah, maybe not quite that strong. He was a non-factor last week. Sydney did a really good job on him. He had 16, but he still had 5 clearances and 8 tackles, but different story tonight. So you have to go back to round 10, 2022, since he's had 1 clearance in a match. It's only happened 4 times in his career. So how good was Dunkley on him? Ineffective. So this is the next challenge that every young, good midfielder goes through. Okay, I can win the footy when no one's on me and I'm a dominant player, but once the opposition starts to put the time into me, how do I then be able to contribute to the side? He wasn't able to do that tonight, and it was reflective of the whole of the midfield. He wasn't in there alone, clearly, but great plan from Chris Fagan to come up with that. And I think other teams are now going, okay, well, you can't let Matt Rowell stand alone at stoppage because he's a driving force for them. So, yeah, it's disappointing tonight.
It's been a slow burn for Charlie Cameron coming into tonight's game. Just the 4 goals to his name, but he finished with 3 goals too, and he had that spark and pizzazz back, Kane.
He got the game going. I thought the game was really flat until this. There was a brief period here where he just lit up and his song started and the whole crowd got behind it, and then the atmosphere at the Gabba is just amazing when this happens. So, I mean, he's one of the most watchable, if not the most watchable player in football, and he'd been flat, but you've got to remember from 2021 to 2024, only Jeremy Cameron had kicked more goals than this guy. So I think you're prepared to give him a little bit of grace if he has a flat patch, particularly with the hard nature of the position that he plays. But if they can get him going with Zach Bailey and Archie and the players that they've got at ground level in that forward line, Lohman, when he comes back, look out.
What about at the other end of the ground when it comes to the Suns' tall forwards? The 3 talls there of Ben King, Jed Walter and Ethan Reid. It's an experiment that Damien Hardwick continues to persist with, even when inclement weather is forecast like tonight, Kane. Should he have changed it up? I know that Ben Long was the late out and they were missing him, but they just seemed very tall this evening.
How stubborn has he been with this? I mean, and all great coaches are stubborn, but I mean, we've been saying this for 5 or 6 weeks. Like, he's going to have to make a call on one of them. So when you look at it, I think it was 3 marks between the 3 of them and 3 goals. Like, Ben King had 2 touches. Clearly, he picks himself. He's winning the Coleman medal at the moment, or was leading into this game. And you're going to have to make a call between the other 2. Now, Walter tries hard, but he really struggles with his agility. So in this weather, on that ground at night, when it gets so dewy, regardless of whether it rains or not, Damien Hardwick's gone with those 3 again when it's been ineffective for the majority of the year. So I would be staggered if he doesn't make a call on one of those youngsters this week. And I probably think on tonight's performance, it'll be Reid, but he can't play all 3 again.
In a word, do you trust the Suns yet?
Not yet. No, I mean, they thought they were far ahead of where they were, and that's a wake-up call, albeit against the best side in it right now.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.